Yo, what's going on, everybody, man? It's your boy Marcus Elbow from elbowmediastudios.com. Welcome to Healthy Music YouTube channel. And today we're going to be taking a look at your first 30 minutes inside of the MPC One Plus. This should be very, very fun. I know you're ready to get started, so let's just go ahead on and get this done. Let's go. All right, so as y'all guys can see now, we have the MPC One Plus live on deck. And if you're asking some questions, let's go ahead and get it out the way. This is no different as far as build as the MPC One original. I guess the Mark One. This was probably the Mark Two. It is pretty much the same machine. The only difference is now you have Bluetooth and you have Wi-Fi, and I think they took some stuff off of the back. But yeah, oh, you don't have the internet port on the back. Okay, so you just booted this bad boy up. Most likely you probably are going to want to get an update real quick. I'll show you how to do that in a second. But let's just talk about the back of the unit real quick, just in case you haven't hooked it up yet. And we're going to go from right to left. The first button right here is going to be your main volume, okay? And the next two right here, your main left and right, is going to be what you're going to use to go out to your speakers or whatever you want to use to monitor your sound. This input here, left and right, is going to be what you use for sampling here. And then next to that is going to be your record volume. This is what you're going to use as far as what your input is coming in, how loud you want that to be. Be careful with this and not have it too loud, because you will introduce clipping. Okay, these four little inputs here is for your CV gates, and these inputs here are for your MIDI in, MIDI out. You have a little lock mechanism here. You have your connection you use here to connect to your computer. I think that's a USB-A, and then you have also a USB connection here for you to also use a thumb drive or anything like that. If you had music on the thumb drive, you can use this. Okay, you also have your power slot here where you can plug in your power. You have your power button right here as well. Now, as we navigate to the front of the unit, it's very simple. You have your all the way to the right, you have your headphone jack here, 3.5 millimeter, and then you have your SD card slot here. Okay, and that is pretty much your machine as far as your inputs and outputs and things that you need to get it connected. Okay, so let's just go ahead on real quick and look at how we can go ahead and get this thing started. So if we just go ahead on now, when you first boot it up, you're going to see a few things here. You're going to see the demos here. You can actually, if you don't have any music ready, you can actually go in and listen to some music if that's what you wanted to do. But most likely you're just probably going to hit empty project. And before we start talking about what we're looking at here on the screen, if this is your first time working on an MPC, let's just go ahead on and hit the menu button here. And once you hit that menu button, let's go and navigate to our preferences. And then what we're going to do is we're going to hit update. And just to make sure we have our update stuff set up, we can just go ahead and hit the online update here. And if you haven't set up your Wi-Fi, you can easily go into your Wi-Fi here, search for your Wi-Fi. It's going to find your Wi-Fi, and then you can just go ahead on and sign into your Wi-Fi. That way, whenever you go in here and you're looking to update, it will just update on its own, which is a great thing. Okay, now let's go ahead and hit main and get back to this screen. Okay, now we're going to just go over a few buttons here real fast. We're not going to go into detail about every button. I'm just going to give you a brief description of what they do. Okay, we're going to go from left to right. Okay, so full level is going to be your ability to adjust how your pad responds to when you hit it. So if you want it to be 100% velocity, you hit the full level. If not, then it really depends on how hard you hit it. That's going to dictate the velocity. Then you have your 16 levels here. That is a way that you can take one sound and spread it over the pads and have some different octaves and things like that play. Okay, you also have your copy and delete button here. Anything that you see that's in red here, it will need to be used with the shift button So you have to hold the shift button down and then hit that. Again, you have your copy, delete, you have your erase here, you have your note repeat. So if you're looking to do some 116s, 132, you can hold it down and you can double click it. And then when you're doing any hi-hats, drums, or whatever, if you hold it down, you will hear some rolls and things like that. Okay. Now, this button right here is going to be your main button, which is probably going to be one of your most used buttons, because whenever you go to one screen, you hit the main to get back to the core level in which you're going to be doing all your creation. Okay. Coming down here is going to be, of course, your menu button. We're not going to go through everything in the menu. The most thing you're probably going to be concerned with is your sampling capability, your sample edit, and your program edit. Okay. Now let's go ahead and look at, again, we talked about the shift button. Let's go ahead and hit that main button again. Right here, you have your step sequence, your time correct, your sampler, sample edit, and you have your program edit. Now, these are just quick ways to access different things inside of the UI. So this is a quick way to get there. If you don't want to go to menu here, you can hit main, and if you're just ready to start sampling, you can hit that button. Boom, you're ready to sample. After you finish that, you can go back to main and you're ready to go. Okay. Then down here, of course, is your transport controls. So these are a few quick buttons right here that you can use to get to different places very fast. If you hold shift again, you have red labels down here that would take you into some different options. So essentially, you don't have just 5 buttons here or 5 options here. You have 10 options. Okay. Right here, of course, is your transport controls. You have record, overdub, stop, play, and play from start. Okay. Now, as we move up here, you have your tap to tempo. All right. This is one of my favorite buttons. Under that, you have global. Then you have your undo button. You're definitely going to want to know where that button is. Okay. Then over here, you have your browse. This is going to take you into your expansions or anything like that. You also can hold shift and hit save. You also have your track mix here, where you can go in and start mixing some of your pads, mixing your tracks as you start to accumulate them. You also have your track mute here. This is awesome for if you have multiple sequences and you want to mute a few elements, you can do that. Or if you're doing a live event, you can actually go in and mute there. Okay. Then you have your next sequence here, where you can actually start making it move along different sequences, or you can trigger sequences from here. Okay. And of course, this is going to be your banks here for your different sounds that you have. If we hit main here and you have different samples in different locations, you can use that. If you hit shift, you go to the next level. So you have A, B, and then of course you have EF if you want to go there. Okay. Right here is your cue links. These are what you're going to use to do any type of parameter changes or manipulation. The cue link button here is going to be the button you're going to use to change the different modes of the cue links. Okay. Now, this right here, of course, is going to be your data wheel. All you got to do is click this in or spin it or whatever you want to do so you can navigate through. Okay, that is the buttons, pretty much just a quick overview of what they do. Okay, now let's take a look at the screen itself. Okay, now again, this is going to be a very, very quick overview of what's going on inside of this screen. Okay, we have a course coming on the MPC One Plus, but I'm just trying to get you started with this free course right here on YouTube so that you can be well aware of what you're going to be dealing with if you ever was to buy the course that we're going to provide in the future. Okay, all right, so if we start from, we're not going to look at the menu here, we're just going to talk about what's in the middle here. All right, this first one is going to be your sequence. Here you can actually have multiple sequences if you want to create a song. Next to that is going to be your BPM. You can actually highlight this and you can control your BPM by using the data dial, or you can click it in and you can manually insert a BPM. Next to that is going to be your bar count. You can go from 2 bars to 4 bars to 16, 8, whatever you want your track to be. Okay, next to that is going to be your time signature. You have your transpose. When we go down, this is going to be where your tracks live. Okay, you have essentially 5 different or 6 different tracks you can create, but most likely you're going to be taking a look at your drum kit creation, which is going to be your programs. The next button is going to be your plugins. The next one is going to be your key groups, and the one after that is going to be your clip launch. Okay, everything else is just MIDI and CV gates. If you're not really familiar with that, then don't even worry about it. You're going to spend a lot of time in your plugins and in your program create section, okay? And in order for you to be able to create that, it's already ready. As you can see right here, you have program 1, and if you want to load something in, we'll talk about that in a minute. Right here, you have your sequence length, you have your velocity, again, you have your transpose, you have record and auto, and then on the end here is your ability to name. If you hit the little pen tool, you can actually look at some more options, and you can also go up here and you can name this. You can call it track 1 here, and then you can say do it. You also have a few options here. We're not going to go over all of those, but you do have explode. You can double speed the events. You can do a pitch, quantize, humanize, and a lot of different options here that you would need to explore as you begin to start creating tracks. Okay, now after you have named that, if you want to, you can move on to the next track by highlighting that and hit the next one. It's going to say unused, and then you can easily go in if you want to and call this track 2. Okay, hold on. Call this track 2. Okay, do it and then go back. Now you have 2 tracks here. Okay, these are 2 essentially programmed tracks, which are drum tracks. Something that you need to know that I really want to get out straight up is that if you're going to be creating multiple programs, you need to understand that when we get down to this section, this is where you're going to tell the MPC that you have multiple programs, because you cannot use one program for every track. You can, but understand that if you use one program on multiple tracks, whenever you manipulate that program, it's going to manipulate those sounds for each track. Okay, so you cannot manipulate one without manipulating the other. So what I would advise you to do is go to track 2 and create you by hitting this little plus sign here, and now you have a new program, and you could easily go in and call that, drum kit, whatever, 3. Okay, and then go back. Now you have you have drum kit 3, and then you can easily go in here and also name this one drum kit 1 if that's what you wanted to do. Okay, so as you can see here, you have drum kit 1, and if we go to track 2, I have drum kit number 3, which I can easily go back if I wanted to and just change that to drum kit number 2. Okay, and then I can back out of that. Okay. Now, as you look over here, you have some different options here. You have warp samples, you have assign samples, and you have edit samples. We're not going to really get into that. What we are going to do is I am going to show you how to load some sounds, okay? So let's just go ahead on, and remember, this is the way that we're doing it in the program portion. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to hit browse here, and then I'm just going to go in and highlight me an expansion pack here, and then I'm going to ensure that my my selection up here for what I want to listen to is on the drum program or the drum kit itself, which is 4 boxes here. Okay, now once I go through, it's going to audition the different kits that are inside of this expansion pack. Before you get ready to do that, just go into your audition section here and make sure you have it on auto, so whenever you start to scroll, you will hear those drum kits inside of this expansion pack. Okay, now if you hit stop twice, you can't stop that that preview from playing. And if you want to load this, all you have to do is click in your data dial here, or you can hit load here. Once you hit the load button and you go back to main, it's actually not going to be in any of your programs. It is its own program. So all you have to do is scroll over, find that kit you just loaded, and it's ready to go. Okay, so now that we have that kit loaded, we are ready to start working on us a track. Okay, so let's just go ahead on real quick and lay us some drums. Okay, first thing I want to do is I want to make sure I have the tempo that I want. So if I want to play something, now all I got to do is tap the tempo. So that's about my tempo. So all I got to do now is hold down record or hit record and then hit play from start. Now that we have made that recording, now we can actually go in and continue to record on that track by hitting overdub and then hitting play from start, and then we can listen to it. Now, if something in here that we don't like, we can easily go into our options over here, and that's where we're going to get into some of our edit modes here. Okay, so as we look over here, there's a few things that we need to be aware of. There's a little eye here, okay? That eye is essentially your mixing section, okay? This is where you can go in, you can change some different parameters, you can change your pad sounds, how loud they are, how low you want them to be, and you can add effects as well. You can also see what effects is on which track. So if I leave the actual kit highlighted there, it's going to cover everything inside of the kit. If I hit just the one, it's actually going to cover the pad that I'm actually hitting. So if I want to influence that or change the parameters, I can do that by highlighting this just little one pad little icon. If I want to change everything as a whole, again, I'm going to use the drum kit icon. Okay. Now, if I wanted to take out some different elements, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my edit section for this sequence. And if it's some things that I don't like in there, I can just easily take them out. Let's take a look. In order for me to zoom, all I had to do is highlight this little magnifying glass here at the top here. If you don't have that highlighted, just highlight it, and then you can actually go in and use finger gestures to get that to lock in, okay? Now, I know for a fact that over here, I do not like these double hats here, or open hats. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just hit this little eraser tool here, and I'm just going to delete that. Let's go ahead and hit that undo. Let's just make sure we don't have anything but those selected. So I just hit up here and I hit my selection tool, and then I'm gonna hit the erase tool, and I'm just gonna erase those. I'm gonna play it again. Okay, I like that. Okay, now what I want to do is I'm gonna go ahead and hit that main. Remember what I told you, we're always gonna be jumping back and forth with that main. I want to see if there's something else I like up in here. All right, let's go ahead and put that in there. So I'm gonna hold down overdub because I don't want to hit regular record because I would record over everything that I did. I'm still on track 1. So let's just go ahead and hit overdub. We're gonna hit play from start. Okay, I like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and hit overdub again so I don't record over anything, because now I'm in rehearse mode essentially. So this is a great opportunity for me to show you how to use your 16 levels. So I have a bass here, as you can hear there. Now, if I want to turn the volume up on this, all I have to do is highlight that pad. This is my bass here. Just turned it up a little bit. All right, now I'm gonna hit 16 levels. It's gonna ask me, what do I want to do? I don't want to do velocity. I want to do tune, okay? And then I'm gonna go ahead and close that. Let's hear it. I kind of like that. So let's go ahead and do under overdub. All right, let's just say that we like that, okay? Now what we're going to do is we can go ahead and hide our little mixer section. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to track number 3, and we're going to highlight our plugin section. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to add some little, I guess, some pads or some texture to this real quick. This is the same situation as it was before. Whenever you have a program and you have a plugin, whenever you start putting multiple plugins in, you need to create new plug-in containers. But if you don't, it will manipulate that plugin originally that you created. Okay, now if we want to go into sounds, we can hit this button here and we can go into some of our sounds. So let's just go into hype. These are where your sounds live. If you have the extra plugins, they will work here, but if you don't, you have to go and purchase those. I do not have those on this machine, so we're just going to go to some default stuff, and I am just going to go in here and I'm going to look for some texture. So let's just go to pad, and then I'm just going to go here. Now, if you want to figure out what key that one bass line is in, you could easily go back here to track 1. That's where that bass line lives. Now, this is going to get a little bit advanced, but if you just go ahead on and hit program edit, and you go into your samples here, this is that bass here, okay? And it's going to show you right there. This is in D minor, okay? Now, if I want, I could go back out. I can go back into my plugin, and we could see if that actually works, okay? Don't look like it saved my plugin here, but that's okay. And we'll just go back in here, and then we'll just go into D minor. Don't sound bad. I don't like the sound, but it don't sound bad. Let's go back to our main. Let's go back into sounds. Go back into here. See if we can find us something else. All right, so let's go in here and adjust the volume. Let's try that. right, let's take a look at our track mix here. All right, guys. So that was your first 30 minutes inside the MPC One Plus. Okay. Again, this was just a beginner's course to really just get you started inside of this machine. And I hope that you learned something. And what I need you to do is go ahead on and hit that subscription button, like button, and all that. And definitely go over to elbowmediastudios.com and definitely become a subscriber over there so that when we do release this course, you will be the first notified. Then you can go ahead on and grab that and continue your learning journey. Okay. All right, man. Listen, this has been your boy Marcus Elbow. Y'all already know what it is. I will catch y'all in the next one. Healthy music all day. All right, man. One, peace. I'm out.